one thing and you're a good guy, or the most extreme another thing and you're a domestic terrorist. And this is the world that we live in now. So, a little breaking news for you. Let's go now to Corey in New Hampshire, who wants to talk about the IRS. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, so I wanted to get into like the IRS, the Federal Reserve, and I think focusing on the monetary system in general is what people should be doing. I would like to focus and use the momentum of the whole GameStop thing and the open fraud that, normal people are actually seeing right now with their very own eyes in plain sight. Now, I think everything else is pretty much a symptom. If you don't focus on how we got here financially and how we're controlled financially, then really anything else we do isn't going to achieve real change. Now, during the last week, since it's tax season, right? Or is it? I mean, we're told it is. But since it's tax season, I decided to call the IRS. And I wanted to know if I was required to file under the law. Because I'm a law-abiding man, and that's what I do, right? So I called them and I spoke with them. I spoke with two people, actually. The tax law department being one specific part of the IRS. And they couldn't cite me. No matter how much I asked, I was incredibly polite, incredibly patient. They would not cite me the law, the specific statute, which states I'm required to pay income tax. Now, when people research this, they will realize that the IRS is actually a special trust fund out of Puerto Rico. That is a fact. The Federal Reserve is a privately owned bank. That is a fact. And actually, the whole phrase drain the swamp came from 1984 when Reagan commissioned a investigation basically on how our tax dollars and things were spent, colloquially known as the Grace Commission. Now, they found during that report that 100% of our tax dollars actually went towards paying the interest on the national debt. Now, if it's not going towards what we're told it's going towards, your tax dollars go to making, repairing roads and schools and all that good, feel-good stuff. It doesn't actually go to that. It goes to fund, wars you don't want to fight and things, but it doesn't go to help you. Now, the IRS is just the private collection wing of the Federal Reserve, which is a private bank, right? And people need to study also the Jerome Daly or the Credit River case in 1968, where it was determined that the lawful status of the Federal Reserve note was void. It wasn't actually lawful currency that you could use to pay debts. So I think people should get into that as well. But if you focus on the financial institutions and how we got here and how there'll never be enough money in circulation to actually pay the debt and the interest if the U.S. has to borrow it from the Federal Reserve at interest. So it's all a big scam. Now, if people understand how that works, they can actually unite and take to the streets, not focus on one thing. No, this isn't a left or a right thing. The people who dictate what money is control all politicians by default.
I'm going to let you finish on the other side. Sit down the line.